Hello everybody, welcome back for another World of Warships Wednesday. Today, I'm bringing you my first good, decent battle in my relatively new Hatsuharu. I've had it for about 2-3 weeks at this point. I finished it up in the same weekend as the 2 ARP ships for the month of September. So starting off, it's a 4 capture point map. I forget what it's called off the top of my head. I'm squatted up with, or divisioned up with Thunder Nugget. And as we spawned all the way on the western side, we decided to go in and capture A. Work on A first, and then move east to B, C, and D after that. Thankfully, as you can see, I've got some help traveling with me instead of just going in alone as a destroyer and running into 4 or 5 enemy ships all working together. Generally works a lot better for you if you've got some friends to help you instead of going in solo. If you happen to luck into a uncontested point, of course, you'll do just fine in a destroyer. And if you've got some long-range torpedoes like the Hatsuharu does. But it's a little tougher in some of the ships that have short-range torpedoes, like most of the Russian destroyers, first few Russian destroyers, or the U.S. destroyers until you get the torpedo upgrades. But the Hatsuharu comes stock with 10-kilometer torpedoes. You just get a speed upgrade on them and a damage upgrade with the upgrades, but you still get the 10-kilometer ones, which are just fantastic for area denial, if nothing else. If you can't use them for anything else, you can certainly use them for area denial. Very effective.
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
So as you can see, most of the enemy team is not contesting A, which is good for us. Some of them are here, but for the most part, they're on their way to B. And that's very good for us. Particularly as the ships that are over there that I can see on their way to B are pretty dangerous ships, and I don't really want to tangle with them from distance. It'd be much better for me to fight them up close where I can hit them with my torpedoes and take their range advantage out of play. So we've captured our first point, and now I'm going to kind of tail these ships and area deny all the way as far as I can. Keep them from coming to A and just punching off torpedoes. They're a bit outside my gun range, which is about 9.5 kilometers. But they're well within... They're still outside my torpedo range, but my torpedoes are something that will show them that they need to not come this direction, while not simultaneously showing them where I am. Whereas if I fire my guns, all it really does is give myself away and highlight myself as a target for all their much bigger, much longer range guns to destroy me. So we've got a destroyer coming in closer. So I'm going to give him a little torpedo barrage to convince him to go other ways. Or if nothing else, it'll at least make him turn, probably. Head-on torpedoes against the destroyer, you don't have a very good chance of making somebody turn, but they'll probably get the warning about torpedoes and haul off. So in the meantime, I fire off the torpedoes and then start a smoke screen for all of my friendly, larger ships coming over this way to take advantage of.
Smoke screen set.
So they'll have the cover now between the island here, and then they can sail out beyond the island and have the cover of my smoke screen to fire at the enemy from over towards B, which pretty much seals the deal for us on holding A.
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
That's a preemptive torpedo spread there, hoping that the enemy Hatsuharu gets closer, and then when I zoomed in, realized he's not coming this way. But that's okay. There's still a Gneisenau and an Atlanta and a Budioni that are still pretty close. kind of holding off on any more torpedoes or firing here, waiting for the rest of the larger capital-type ships to get here as my smokescreen starts fading away. Waiting for our larger ships to get here and give me a little bit of backup as I go and charge in and attack. The Atlanta is unfortunately just out of my gun range. I'd very much like to fire at them, draw fire in to me, and then have my larger ships behind me annihilate them. Unfortunately, he was just a bit out of range, and by the time I can get turned around and sail back over here, it's kind of irrelevant as he has moved behind some islands. And then I decide to move on in, press the attack towards B, chase the enemy farther away from A, and start moving this battle farther east. Which, as it turns out, works out quite well for us.
Concentrate fire on the target.
My shots would have fallen just short of that Atlanta, even though he was within range. So it's alright that somebody else got him before my shots got there. Our little squadron here down in the southwest has completed their wheel turn around the island at A and are all heading towards B in a nice little delayed formation there. I'm detected, but I'm not within range of anything, so we know there's a destroyer nearby, and there he is. A Mutsuki who reveals himself. Starts deploying smoke. And you can kind of see him turning away to the left there a little bit. I didn't see that at the first point when I was playing this, so put some shots at him, came to a halt behind this island to kind of screen myself from him, hoped that he would fire his torpedoes out through this channel here, and then I would be able to get away from them by his lead. But it looks like he turned away and ran, which is a completely valid tactic. I would have done the same thing if I saw all the ships coming up behind me, wheeling in towards him too. Now our Tirpitz here has got a bit of damage, and now he's on fire, and he uses his damage control party right there, which will come into play in a moment. As you see more torpedoes coming in from that Mutsuki up there. Now I'm able to dodge these torpedoes with really no problem whatsoever. The Tirpitz is back on fire again, and then unfortunately he takes a big hit from a torpedo right in his bow, which does cause him some flooding. I'm trying to race in front of him to drop smoke here.
Smoke generator started.
For both the Tirpitz, who's taking hits from torpedoes and gunfire, and for the other ships that are following along behind me.
Engine boost activated.
I don't have too many battles where I'm able to make really good teamwork use of my smoke chargers than I do like I do in this battle. This battle, the smoke dispensers work really well. Unfortunately, the Tirpitz floods out from the torpedoes, but the Chapayev is able to hide out in my smoke for a bit and get some fire on that Molotov, so it did work out. Wasn't able to save the Tirpitz, but Chapayev has sunk the Molotov, so that's pretty good. The Kutuzov is running away a little bit, keeping his distance out there. And our 3 ships behind me, 2 battleships and a cruiser, are well able to concentrate on him, including a massive strike by Thunder Nugget there that just must have citadeled him a couple times and completely annihilated the poor cruiser. And like I said in chat, those did seem to hit. He said earlier couldn't seem to hit anything today, but those certainly seemed like they hit. So now we've got a nice line all the way down the 5 column. Pretty much our entire team is arrayed up the 5 column, so we're going to line up and push the battle farther east, keep pushing the enemy back, and keep the fight away from the points we've already got captured.
Attention. Reporting the target position.
You can see at the score, they've got 3 battleships and 2 destroyers left. All 3 of their battleships are north of the sea point. The destroyers are currently unaccounted for, but if all 3 of their battleships are up north, where it's pretty easy for us to push in down here at the south, wheel up from the south into the sea point and push them even further north as well as east, and really just kind of rout them right out of this battle. We've fallen behind a bit on score,
Engine boost deactivated.
but that's due to ship losses. We're in a much better position to recover from the score than they are right now. So now you can see the North Carolina has beached, or is at least hiding behind an island right there. Which is mighty convenient for a long-range torpedo boat like mine. One of the enemy destroyers has been highlighted down in the south, but we've got a couple of ships down there well able to deal with him. And I'm able to press my attack in on the North Carolina, as well as start capping sea from them. A stopped North Carolina, who's backing away from, just barely starting to back away from an island, within 8 kilometers, and is an extremely tempting target for 10-kilometer torpedoes. Right now, I thought for sure he was going to spot me.
It's a go.
And really, he should have. Also, I should have been paying better attention and realized that once he got back to far enough away from the island to make his turn, that he would haul forward again and be able to move forward and turn around that island to fire back at us or to move towards sea. So my second launch of torpedoes was a little bit too far behind him, and you'll see how close it was in a moment. So he's at 49,000 health right now, and you can see that first torpedo is about to take about 12,000 away from him. There's a good hit and some flooding. He'll have to use his damage control party here. And look at that second torpedo. Ugh! Just barely missed him as he was slowing his reverse down to move forward. If I had waited and fired my second spread of torpedoes now as he'd come to a complete stop and was starting to move forward again, there's no way he would have been able to dodge them. But I didn't. Just something to pay attention for all you torpedo enthusiasts out there who might actually watch this.
Victory is in sight.
We've now caught up in score as we've sunk one of their battleships. And I'm going to get my second spread of torpedoes out. Now he fires here, and I thought I'd been discovered, which of course is not true. He merely fired at where he expected and was guessing me to be. But then once I fire, I gave my position away, and he moves in for the charge, which really is the only thing you can do in a battleship like this. From that close, you've got to charge in at a destroyer, keep the destroyer detected, and not let the destroyer be able to sneak around and fire more torpedoes at you where you can't see them coming. So now I've got a 60% health, gigantic capital ship, battleship coming in, bearing down on me, and I'm going to go toe-to-toe broadsides with him. Kind of silly of me, but I didn't really have a choice either. He played it right to keep me detected, and all I could do was hope that the reload on the torpedo tubes was fast enough. I was also trying to get a fire started on him, because I know he's used his damage control party. So when I notice my torpedoes are about to reload, I'm taking my chances on his secondaries not being able to destroy me, which is pretty risky. Take a hit to lose my engine and then go back to the guns, because I'm never going to get a second chance at torpedoes. Get one hit with the first spread, and then just as he gets set on fire by someone else, my second spread of torpedoes is just in the right spot. He's below 12,000 points of damage, and the torpedo finishes him off. And I was pretty happy. Like I said, this was my first really good, effective battle in the Hatsuharu, so I was quite happy with it. It's about 5 minutes to go in the battle. Nothing else really happens here, so we'll skip ahead here in a moment and go to the finishing part. And there we go. We roll over 1,000 points, and that'll be the end of the battle. So we'll get the final score screens here. You can see 42,000 damage, three torpedo hits, 3 floods, 1 fire, and 1 destroyed large battleship for a second place. Not too bad, really. The torpedoes on the Hatsuharu do a lot of damage. Alright, I hope you guys like this battle. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you again soon for another World of Warships Wednesday. Don't forget to check out all the social media links in the description. Thanks a lot. Take care, everybody.